Hi, and welcome to episode 32 of the Austin Downbeat. I'm Kat, your host. Thank you so much for joining me today and every week. And thank you so much for subscribing and watching and sharing with your friends. I'm seeing it all, and it's lovely. Let's start out this episode with our rundown. As usual, this covers November 8th through the 14th. Today is Election Day, November 8th. Be sure to go out and vote. And here's your rundown. We have Gina Chavez at ACL Live. Hoobastank is at the Hot Spot. And Shooks is at Hotel Vegas. Wednesday, November 9th, you have Matt the Electrician at O4 Center, as well as Susanna Schaffel and Carrie Rodriguez. Thursday on the 10th, Britny Lobas, the guest today, is at the 24 Diner. Scott Collins is coming on soon, and he's at the UT Golf Club. Katrina Kane, she was just on. She's at So Far Sounds. Friday, November 11th, 11/11, Erica Michelle's at Austin Eastsiders at Barton Springs. Joe James is at Lost Creek Country Club, and Madame Radar is at Planet Rock Vodka. Saturday, Natalie Price is at the Rail House. Eric Betancourt is at the Domain with Sean Pander and Matt Giles. Sunday, November 13th, Andrea McGee is at Music on the Balcones Lawn. I hope I'm saying that right. And then Monday, we always have the Monday Night Supper Club. I think that's still going. I know Ben has been in the UK. Hi, Ben. Hopefully he's coming back soon. And you also have Bob Schneider at Saxon Pub and Dale Watson at the Continental Club. That is a lot. So let's get down to it. For our guest today is Britny Lobas. She has a single out called Hollow, which is a song near and dear and really, really special. We talk a lot about that song in this conversation. She is a fellow Northeastern girl like me. Let's see. She's just so full of life and so fun to talk to. And I could just go on and on. We talk about so many wonderful things. Please give it a listen and enjoy as much as I did. Mwah. Britny, thank you so much for coming on. We're totally going to hang out. I feel like she's my sister. She has some shows coming up. Let's see. She has a big one coming up with a full band on December 10th at the Rail House. So that's awesome. Be sure to put that on your calendar and be sure to follow her, Britny Lobas, everything social media, and check out what she's doing. She's some really good stuff happening, both as a duo, as the Petticoat Five with Garrett J. Brown, and also with a full band too. Super powerful woman. I have grown to love her dearly, and I'm so thankful for her coming on. Please enjoy Britny Lobas. Welcome to the show, Britny Lobas.
Hello, thank you for having me.
It's worth the wait. I was just saying, I feel like I've listened to your music so much. It's so nice to see your face in live motion, hearing your voice talk to me. And I'm really looking forward to kind of diving in. We are from the tri-state area.
Oh, really? Where are you from?
So I was born in Erie, Pennsylvania.
Stop it.
Yeah.
Really?
Been through Cleveland so many times. Not that I have like any real memories there, but like to fly out, sometimes I would go through Cleveland because it was just, better or different or an option than Pittsburgh to get up to Erie because it was so hard. You have to take that little plane, the puddle jumper to get there. Yeah.
How far is Erie from? Because I don't think I've ever been to Erie, Pennsylvania.
What?
I know. I'm like, wait. So I've been to Pittsburgh and I've been to Philadelphia, obviously, but I don't think. Well, maybe I have. How is it? Like 2 hours?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
It's right on Lake Erie. So if you were to take I feel like it would be crazy if you haven't been there. Not because it's so spectacular.
Like called Peninsula or something.
Yes,
there?
Presque Isle.
Okay. Yes. Okay. Actually, my mom, okay. It's obviously been like 10 years since I've lived there, but yes, we used to go there. My mom loved that area. So like
Yeah.
my mom's originally from Houston. But
Okay.
her sisters would come up and then
Yeah.
we'd all go there and hang out.
Yeah.
Okay. So then I have.
Okay. I left the minute I graduated from high school. I all by myself went to California. And so I feel like, yeah, I technically maybe am supposed to say that I'm from Erie, but it's not very sexy. Sorry, Erie.
Sorry, Erie.
However, total tangent, but I was in H&M the other day.
Yeah.
And you know how it's like kind of really fashionable right now to like bring back old school stuff or just be really weird and like random. There is a sweatshirt at H&M that says Lake Erie on it. And
No.
I would have bought it, but it wasn't really like my color scheme. It was like cream. It was all cream. Like, I don't know. I didn't really do cream and like pastels. So I'm more of a black and white, like bolder color.
Same.
Anyway.
I don't know. Why would they make a like Erie sweatshirt cream? But continue.
No, like you had 25 choices. But anyway, yeah. So maybe Lake Erie's kind of cool. Maybe I need to start saying I'm from there rather
I'm
than
like, I may have to go get that sweatshirt. That's pretty dope.
I will go take a photo of it and text it to you.
Yes, please do. Please
sweatshirt.
do.
I didn't see one that said Cleveland on it, Britney.
You didn't?
No.
Just Lake Erie.
I'll write a letter. Get it. We'll make it happen.
Mistake on the lake. Did you hear that a lot growing up?
Yes. Yeah.
Yes. That.
Yeah. Also that it caught on fire.
It's kind of making a comeback. It like got cool like when I was living down here.
Yeah.
Like the Cleveland Flats. They're like popping now. Yeah, there's like bars and restaurants. And I remember as a kid, my dad has a fishing boat and we would go up and down like the canal and there were always logs and all kinds of trash in the river. So we'd be like in the boat and we'd be like, oh shit. And so we'd have to dodge the log and dodge like this pile of trash just floating in the river, you know? But now it's really beautiful. So yay.
They dredged it and cleaned up the trash. But do you find, let's dive into you and kind of how Cleveland or maybe being from there, because I know for myself, like, you know, I do have a little bit of pride for having some East Coast or Keystone. It is the Keystone State. So, but you know, like I do pride myself in having some of those values and characteristics and, you know, pieces of me just having spent my first 18 years there. Talk a little bit about just, you know, you're an Austin transplant, as am I, as is many people. A lot of people. And there's nothing wrong with that, by the way. But talk a little bit about what growing up in that kind of culture and you know, that just because that area of the country, what did that make in you and what did that give you?
Yeah. You know, I'll say this. I don't think I had a lot of pride moving from Cleveland when I first got here. Like I felt really, I felt the coolest thing. I was like from Austin, like not from Austin, but I was living in Austin and I was like a transplant, but like kind of throughout the years going back home and just like, you know, growing up and kind of just, you know, just my roots as being, you know, a Clevelander, I'm really proud to be from there. And I think it took a while, like, you know, really, you know, it's like when I talk to people or, you know, just go back home, it's a really like blue collar, hardworking town. And I really feel like that, you know, is kind of just where like I came from, like my dad, my grandpa, like all my family, like everybody was like just blue collar, you know, union workers and just really stowed like that in me. And so, you know, it's just like I grew up, you know, both my parents working full time. And then my dad was also a musician. So he had like 2 jobs, you know, and then, you know, my mom was like a writer, but then she worked full time for an insurance company. So it was like they had these dreams and they had these passions, but they still worked full-time jobs and then raised me and my sister.
Mhm.
Um, and, I grew up going to church, grew up singing in this like real, gospel church down in like probably a really bad part of Cleveland. Now looking back, it wasn't the best. It wasn't like the safest part, but we'd go down there every Sunday, and I grew up singing in church. So that was really kind of where I got my roots for music. And then just growing up like with my dad, just being a rock and roller and kind of always on the road and always playing gigs. And
Nice.
yeah, I think I'm really proud to be from Cleveland, you know?
Yeah. You
Um,
have such a power. First of all, I'm sure I'm not the first person to ever tell you that, but you are insanely, I'm so in awe of, I mean, your videos, whether it's a produced video that's super, gorgeous and polished, or it's just footage of you performing. It's almost even better just to
yeah.
see the freaking raw version. Like, where does that come from? And it almost makes me feel like, does it tie back into a little bit of your roots and just having those kind of ingredients in your bowl that sort of ignited that piece of you to allow such freedom and of expression when you perform? Where does that feel like it's all
You
kind
know,
of simmering as a kid, and now it just makes sense to you? Or are you too kind of like, whoa, I don't know where that comes from?
that's a great question. I think it does kind of simmer a little bit from like those Midwestern, roots a little bit, that just hardworking, kind of always grinding, always fighting, kind of always just working towards that end goal of whatever you are working towards,
Mhm.
like I kind of think of just bands that really inspired me, like friends of mine, Welshly Arms, they're from Cleveland, and they kind of rose up and are really really popular like overseas, and they kind of have this Midwestern sound, the Black Keys, like just that really kind of gritty blues, just you
Yeah.
can't help but just you just feel it,
Sink your teeth. Yeah.
yes, just grit your teeth and just you just feel it. So I feel like that's definitely kind of just embedded like in my soul. Like I can't help it but
Yeah.
feel it, as I'm sure it's just yeah.
Yeah. I love that. What kind of kid were you? Were you a kid that was always performing and being dramatic and singing and whatever? I mean, you have a sister, so typically there's one that's not, so sometimes we do have a bit of a yin and a yang
Yeah.
in siblings. So describe that for us.
Yeah. So my sister Becky is about 5 years younger than me. So we had a pretty big
Space.
gap. Yeah, we had a pretty big gap. But yeah, I grew up singing in church, and then I don't know, my parents, remember those like big old camcorders?
Yes.
Yeah. so so my parent, like we grew up and my parents were always like filming everything. And so I got this nickname as a kid because I guess my parents would film all these videos, and then I'd want to sit there and just watch myself on TV, and I'd be like, put on Britney on. So I got this nickname Britney on when I was a kid, but I was always like on TV, or when I got older, I'd like borrow the camcorder and I'd film my sister, or we'd make movies. And, I was always like wanting to be on TV or wanting to like produce like a movie, with my sister or friends and stuff like that. So that was kind of like growing up and singing and putting on shows in the living room and singing like karaoke tapes and
Yeah, I was
like
the same. I remember being in the back of the car, and I was young at this point. It was just the beginning of my career of singing. So this was back before you had to even wear a seatbelt, no car seat. I was like probably 3, 4, and 5 years old. I would turn around in the back seat and I would lip sync to a microphone to the cars behind us. And I would just give it everything I had. And I really felt like I was giving them a gift. I really felt like, boy, they love this.
they probably really did. I mean, if they saw you, how cute.
I know. But yeah, I was the same. And I feel like, I don't know how old you are, but I'm a child. I was born in the late 70s. 80s
Uh-huh.
were my jam. Like, it felt like, I know nothing else, but it really felt like that was the decade to really, like, I don't know, just music was such a big part of my life too, where it was like, and it was like, of course it is. How could it
Yeah.
not? It was the
Yeah.
80s, man. You know? Like, make that music video, put on the parachute pants, learn how to break dance, get
Yes.
in it, you know?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Parachute pants, man.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
My nickname was Special K because the movie Breakin'. I was like, oh yeah, I'll learn how to do it. I
I
didn't
love
do
it.
So
Oh,
funny. We are the same.
yeah. Yeah. Seems that way. I
Yeah.
love it.
It does. I'm so sorry.
No,
You're so much cooler than me. Um,
how do you?
let's talk about your music. Your latest single is Hollow.
Yes, ma'am.
And it came out late September. I was due to talk to you pretty much closer than
Yes.
that, but we had to take a little pause. But still hitting it hard, and I listened to it again today. Talk a little bit about that song and why that's so special to you, and it's an important song to you.
It is. Well, I'll tell you the whole story if you want to hear it.
I do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I went on a writing retreat about a year ago with Garrett J. Brown, who's a great singer-songwriter in town, good friend of mine in my band as well. And so at the time I was like in a really kind of like a dark place. I was drinking a lot, partying a lot, and I didn't want to go. And you know, when you write, obviously, as you know, like you have to get vulnerable, you have to face shit, you have to be, it's an intimate thing. And at that
Mhm.
point, I just I didn't want to. I just wanted to kind of be numb and not deal with whatever was brewing inside me. But
Mhm.
I went, um, and we wrote, I'd say like the beginning of Hollow and some sort of chorus, and then we had tabled it for a little while. And then the beginning of this year, kind of came back to the song and was still in that place. And actually finished it here in my little home space studio, and thought it was a really powerful song. Um, in June, I had gone home. So I'd planned to like release the song. I didn't know when. But in June, I went home to Cleveland. My mom was having brain surgery. It was like a really serious surgery. And so I had gone home. She wasn't really doing great at the time. And so I was drinking even more to kind of cope with everything that had been going on. And thank God she ended up, being okay and, getting through it all. But at this point, I think I was just about to hit rock bottom. So I came home from Cleveland, and within 12 hours, I felt this like super sharp, horrible pain in my stomach. I ended up going to the emergency room. They took me to ambulance to the hospital, and I spent 16 days in the hospital with alcohol-induced pancreatitis.
Oof.
Yeah, and uh, I had tried to get sober a few times before this, and never really worked. It always seemed really like a great place to be, a beautiful thing, but I tried it, didn't work, tried it, didn't work. And basically at this point, they told me like, if I hadn't gone to the ER when I did, I would have been dead because of all the alcohol and because of basically everything I had been doing up until this point. And so long story short, I had gotten out of the hospital and I had gotten the mix back of Hollow. And I sat there and I listened to this song and I was like,
Oof.
holy shit.
Yeah.
I didn't even like, it was like me subconsciously like telling myself like, you got to get clean and you really need to get your shit together, fill it. Cause I was basically just filling up the hollow part of myself, right? I was filling up this void over and over and over again with drinking because I didn't want to face whatever it is, that I was trying to avoid. So I got the mix back of this song and I was just like, I just like, just started crying, and I was just like, man, this is a really powerful song. And it was almost like I wrote it a year ago, right? And then it was like a premonition of, I feel like, of what was to come. But yeah, I am a little over 4 months sober today. So I'm feeling great. And I got to share my story at the 04 Center, opening up for Andrea McGee last month or September. So it's like November. It's crazy. But yeah, it's just, it's an amazing gift to be able to, like, very cathartic to be able to share, my story and my journey and express through music. But
do you know what a gift that is for other people? Like, do you get that?
Yeah, I told my story at the 04 Center, and I was back at my merch booth, and a few people came up to me just sharing their stories of loved ones they've lost, or, just demons they were facing personally.
Mm-hmm.
And I just hugged them, and I just said, I've been there, or, just giving them my love. And it's very cathartic, very, very healing. And that's all I wanted. It's all I still want, is to just be able to help others, to help, heal, with my music, heal myself, heal other people. Yeah.
I'm so proud of you, and thank you for sharing that. It's, I think sometimes we as listeners take it for granted, the vulnerability and the depth of what musicians and singer-songwriters are actually giving us. And I think I never want to take that for granted. And I think it's incredibly powerful in and of itself just to be a singer-songwriter and performer.
Mm-hmm.
And I think someone like you're taking it to the next level with sharing.
Which is terrifying.
Well, I was going to ask you.
Yeah.
I was going to ask you because it looks, I hear what you just said, and I only see courage and strength and power and discipline and bravery, the everyday kind of bravery, the verb of that, the action when the camera's not on and there's no one around. I understand that. What you feel is probably pretty terrifying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's scary because, a part of me finds it like the accountability, me sharing my story with everyone.
Mm-hmm.
For me, that helps me. It's also terrifying because what if I do relapse? Anybody can.
Right, of course.
So it's just a day by day thing. But I think, I have a great support system. I have God, I have my music, I have my health, I have all these things.
Yeah.
And then it's just like, I have a friend who is sober, and she told me this before I even got sober. And it always stuck with me. And now I get it. She always said to me, like, it's kind of like you're watching a movie, and you just, that person's like back and forth about, taking the drink or whatever they're back and forth at. And you always are just rooting that they make the right choice.
Yeah.
And I get that now. You're always rooting for them to just make the right choice, as hard as it is.
Yeah.
And so it's just,
yeah,
I find it easier to just share and express that way. I've always been kind of like an open book. Like, I wear my heart on my sleeve. Like, you can always tell, like, my facial expression. Maybe that's a Midwest thing. I don't know. I'm very, like, open. I try and have a poker face, right? As if they call it, like, so you can't really tell what I'm feeling, but it's so fucking obvious. I really try, but
I think you should just keep on being exactly how you are. I love it. What's your, I have someone really close to me that's sober and in AA. And so I'm very, very familiar with the modality of AA. Do you use that discipline?
The first time I got sober for a little bit, I did. Yeah. I had a sponsor. I did the whole thing. Not so much this time. Not so much. I go through Sims the
Love
um,
stems. Yeah.
yeah, I do therapy weekly. Thank God for my therapist. Who
God
just told
bless her.
yeah,
God bless all the
thanks,
therapists
Joanne.
in the world.
God.
Shout
And then
out.
she just told me today, she was like, I think we're gonna, we're gonna go to every other week because you're doing so well. And I was like, no, every
I
other
love
week.
therapy.
What am I gonna do? What am I gonna do every other week? No. But I was like, I guess that's a good thing. The end goal is to not really have to go to therapy every week. So the fact that she's saying that I am doing good.
She kind of has to put herself out of a job, but
I
I love
know.
therapy, and I love that it's becoming part of our social consciousness to really talk about mental health, and for therapy services to be easier, because when I was younger, it was really hard to find someone. Insurance never covered, that wasn't carved out for us, but now it is, and I just love people that go to therapy.
Me too. Favorite therapy.
And I love people like you that are fucking honest. Like,
yeah.
we should be talking about these things. I'm not interested. And that's one of the things that I love about having my own show, because I can do whatever I want, and we can talk about whatever we want. And what I want to talk about is this kind of stuff, because I think it's so extremely valuable for every single person watching and listening. I just think that the more that, especially people that are in the public eye, that especially kind of look like they have their shit together because they're so good at what they do and they make it look so easy, and you're up there on stage making it look like this is what you do in your sleep. It's really, really important for us to know what's going on behind the curtain, and for you guys to be honest about it, and to just throw those curtains open. And so
hey,
really,
we're all human, we are human, and there's some real fucking day-to-day shit that we all go through.
Yeah. Let's talk about day-to-day. Just what are some of your discipline? How do you maintain not just sobriety? Because I know that's just a piece of who you are. I don't want to slap that as, the label of everything about you, but just all of the, how do you keep it all the balls in the air, and how do you keep it all going, and how do you have downtime, and what does a day for Britny look like, and what does a really good day look like for
you? That's a great question, and I will say, if you asked me that a few months ago, it'd be very different. Especially the last 2 weeks, they've been great. I usually I'm a runner, and honestly, when I first got out of the hospital, I could barely even walk, let alone run. But today I ran my first 10K that I've ran since I got out of the hospital, and it felt, I'm a little sore, but it felt great. Wow. I love to run. It's kind of like my meditation. It's just where I feel great. I think so clear. So I usually I probably run 5 days a week. I try. So that's kind of my morning, that's what I got to do. And now I'm a morning person. So I wake up pretty early, where I used to sleep in really late. But yeah, last week I played a lot of shows, and I love to stay busy now. I really don't like to have downtime, which I probably need to work on, because it's good to rest and center oneself and, by yourself. But I don't really like that right now. So I try and always have something going on. I like to always be doing something, whether it's music or, just surrounding myself with, my close, close friends, my husband. I did recently just get a pet. I got a kitten. Oh. I've never been a cat person, but that just happened. So his name's Lennon. So that's kind of been filling up a lot of in between time of music, and shows and rehearsals and writing and things like that. Oh, so yeah, just
sweet little Lennon.
Sweet little Lennon. He's terrorizing sometimes, but we leave that part out.
Your joy.
I kept looking over at my door. I'm like, oh my God, he's so loud. He's running against the door. Stop it. But
it's okay.
Just wants to be on camera.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
you know, I've been writing more than I was before. I've been playing more. I finally got my live band together over the last few months, my full band, which doing duo stuff is great and I love it, but there's nothing like a full band, full production. That's my favorite place to be in the world. So
Yeah.
I'm just so happy I have those moving parts again. Uh,
Yeah. Talk a little bit about the duo that you have. Is that the Petticoat
yes,
Five?
the
That's
Pico
the
Five.
duo.
Yeah.
Okay. Talk a little bit about that. And then I want to talk about your band. We'll give a little shout out to those in your band, but talk first
Yeah.
about your duo.
So the duo is me and Garrett J. Brown.
Mhm.
And that kind of came to be, he fronted his own band called The Matters, and then I fronted Corbella. And then obviously COVID kind of shut everything down, and then our bands kind of fell apart. But he
Mhm.
had invited me over right probably like the beginning of COVID to do this like live stream. Um, and then that kind of just, he lived really close. You know, my band was, you know, everybody was quarantining, and you know, we felt comfortable to write together and be around each other. And so that just kind of started forming in 2020. And then the Petticoat Five kind of came to life, and that honestly was before the whole Britny Lobas solo idea.
Mhm.
um but yeah, the duo is really fun. Garrett's so great to work with. He's so easy to work with.
Mhm.
It's fun to harmonize and sing and kind of have that bare bones, you
Mhm.
know, intimacy. And yeah, we kind of just play all over town, and it's a lot of fun. And we're starting to have some originals mixed in with a lot of the covers and stuff like that. So
That's
it's
nice.
just fun to sing a lot, you know. When I was doing Corbella, I mean, it was great, and we played a lot of shows, but it wasn't like a weekly thing, because as you know, like headlining a show in Austin maybe like once every 3 months to really pack it out. So
Yeah.
it's just good to vocally be able to exercise, you know, and
Yeah.
just play that often, sing that often, and it makes me just feel good. And I love, again, to just stay busy, you know,
Excellent.
and
Yeah.
sharp.
Yeah. And then the other side of the coin is your full band. So
Yeah.
who's in that band?
So Garrett actually plays bass in his
Nice.
band. And then I have Cole Burris on guitar. And then I have
Mhm.
Alec Cabrera on drums, who was in Corbella. And then I have John Cherry on keys. And he's new to
Nice.
us. He's been here a few months. So
Oh, very cool.
yeah.
And you guys, you're doing a show on the 10th at the Rail
Yeah.
House with the full band, but isn't Erica Michelle
Yeah.
gonna sing with you? Yeah.
So
Or no,
she's opening
opening up for you.
with her
Okay.
full band. And
Okay.
then Christine Renner, who I haven't seen either of them, but I've seen all their videos,
Yeah.
their music, they're incredible. And then Clay Melton is coming from Houston to close out the night. So it's just
Very
gonna be,
cool.
yeah, a full night of music. A
Awesome.
lot of
And
ladies on that stage.
I
I
like it. I know. We need more ladies on this show too.
know.
Lots
I
of
was just
awesome
watching
ladies.
Katrina on your
Katrina
thing.
Kane.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I need to see her live.
Do you know her?
I don't. I want to.
She's another
We
little
follow each other on
powerhouse.
Instagram. But
Yeah, she's a powerhouse for sure. She's great. She's great live. Yeah,
yeah.
you guys should sing together, do something
I
together. She's
know.
super fun, as
Yeah.
you can see
Yeah.
in the interview. So let's talk about, you have a couple shows coming up in this month. It's November now. I keep thinking it's
Yes.
October, so it's being played this
I do
month.
too.
So on the 10th, you're at the 24 Diner. Is that correct?
Yes, at the airport.
Awesome.
Mhm.
And then on the 19th, you're at 360 Uno.
Yes, ma'am.
And then on the 1st, what's Huts?
Airport. We play the
Airport.
airport a lot. Yeah, that's kind of a new thing, which is really cool, because it's like
I
this
love it.
constantly moving crowd. And then you
Yes.
never know who you're gonna meet, which is cool.
I was just at the airport in September because mixed into my whole crazy month of September, I also had a surprise trip booked for my son that I was like, oh, we're not missing this. So we were at the airport and there were so many people play, like it was so cool. Our gate was right
Yes.
kind of at an end where there was this really cool spot and this chick was killing it. I mean, it was so great. It was like the perfect setup. I was like, this is the way it needs to go. Like it needs to go more and more in this direction of people playing here. Because what
Yeah.
a wonderful way to welcome people into our city. I mean, if we're the live music capital of the world, then like we should have it at our airport.
I agree. I completely agree. They have, I think, 8 or 9 like venues in there now.
Cool.
Yeah. I used to play there years ago, but I don't think they had as many like places to play. But now, I mean, they have it dialed. They have it dialed. We played there last week as the second time. And TSA told us to turn down. They were like, "You have a really big voice. You need to tone it down." And I was like, "I know. I don't blame you."
Mm, sorry, not sorry.
I was like, yeah, guys, I can't really argue my way out of that one. So cool, TSA will turn down.
Can you imagine like full band at the airport?
No, and they asked me, I was like, "Are you guys sure? Are you sure?" But they have that big stage, like I think that's by I think it's called the Saxon now, or it was the Ray Benson, but now I don't know. But it's that one like right in the middle by all the bars and
yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah,
you know what I'm talking about.
I do.
You know, you know.
Do.
If you know, you know.
And if you don't know, then book yourself a flight somewhere and get to the airport.
Yes.
They should sell tickets just to be able to get into the airport just to go watch the music, but that might be a security risk. I don't know, but that would be cool. Because what if I want to see you and I'm gonna have a flight? You know?
I know.
Anyway, these are problems to be solved another day. Before we wrap it up and say goodbye to you, what is the best way for people to support you? Just lay it out for the folks.
Laying it out. All right, folks, you can go to www.britnylobas.com and it has all my links, all my streaming platforms, all my shows coming up, duo and full band. Yeah, and just everything else.
Yeah. And buy merch. Do you have merch? You have merch?
I do. Yeah, I do.
Merch.
I actually just got a really cool t-shirt with my album art on it for Hollow. So I got them specifically for the release. So
how fun.
Check it out, everybody.
Yeah. And of course you always have that for sale at your shows, no matter what, right? Whether it's duo or full band, you got to sell that merch.
Sell the merch, baby.
Yeah. And then follow obviously your Spotify and put her on a playlist. That's always super helpful. Yeah, that's super. And I think too, it just goes to it's worth saying. And I think people don't do, maybe this just isn't quite the instinct yet, but like share, like Instagram, like tell people that you love her.
Yeah, please. And then tag me so I can reshare it. Let me know.
I think people are starting to, but it's like turning a ship, I think it's getting there, but I do see there's so much power in just like Instagram is your little rooftop, and just shout it from your little rooftop and tell people what you love, it's not just for memes.
Yeah, exactly.
Although they're great. Awesome. Well, thank you so much for stopping by and chatting with us, and not only talking about your music, but also showing us your heart and being so honest with us. It is invaluable. I appreciate it so much. And I feel like a better human being after listening to your story, because it affords me the ability to look at everyone, no matter who I see, and see deeper, and you gave me a reminder of that tonight, of just saying like, I know it's very cliche. We all know everyone's fighting something, but it is so true. And just you make me just want to wrap my arms and throw my arms and give you a big hug and just love you and tell you that I'm here, and say that to everybody that I know, So thank you for being so honest with me and to us. And thank you.
I cry a lot too.
No, I love it. But thank you also for doing what you do. Like there is this fire inside of you. And I think there's a fire inside of all of us. And not everybody takes the lid off and shows that to everybody, right? And you do. And so I really, really appreciate that because it's no small thing. And you make it look really easy, but it's no small thing. So I just want to say that out loud. So thank you so much for coming on, making my eyes teary. Teary from Erie. All right, you.
Oh,
thank you for stopping.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you for having me. Seriously.
Of course.
Thank you.
All right. Bye, everyone. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to follow Britny on all things Instagram and Facebook and Spotify, and go out and see her shows. You can follow me on all of my social media because I will be shouting from my rooftop to her and when she's playing. And until next time, thanks for stopping by. This is the Austin Downbeat.